Greetings, everyone. It is I, Louis Orlando, sometimes referred to as Dr. Orlando, here to bring you Wednesday Night Undressed. Yay! We have with us tonight Mr. Brenan Conroy.
Hello there.
Mr. Jay Spring, how you doing?
What's happening?
And Fernando Lafort.
Hello.
We are expecting the doctor of Bulgarian thugonomics, Mr. Ivanov, to show up shortly, but we will see. In the meantime, we're just going to go ahead and get started. So I had a question. Anybody at this table, and I think Ivo's probably seen them all. Have you guys seen any of the Oscar nominees for Best Movie?
No.
Yes.
Which ones have you seen? Let me give you the list. We got Call Me By Your Name, we got Darkest Hour, we got Dunkirk, Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, The Shape of Water, and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. Have you seen any of those movies?
Some. So I saw The Shape of Water, Lady Bird, 3 Billboards, whatever, and the other one.
Get Out.
Get Out, yeah.
Yeah. So what are your feelings of the ones that you've seen? Is there one that you think should win?
Well, I would say, I was about to watch also. Oh, I thought, what about Molly's Game? Is that wasn't it got any nomination?
It is not nominated for Best Picture for sure.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
You just say Best Picture.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it gotta be Shape of Water, but The Post, I'm curious. And the other, Dunkirk is also...
Dunkirk is on the list,
I was about to watch. But Shape of Water is fantastic. Guillermo del Toro, I take my hat for he makes a piece of art, from so many decades. The movies, it's perfect. It's the perfect picture, the perfect music.
Wow. I saw it.
You don't think so?
I saw it, yeah. I liked it. I thought it was a good movie, but I would not put it in... Well, first of all, I've only seen about half of these. I've seen Get Out, I've seen Shape of Water, seen 3 Billboards, so not even half of them. And I am not overly impressed with any of them as far as Oscar movies.
Really?
But I think I got a different feeling about Oscar movies. I don't think there's an Oscar-worthy movie, a Best Picture quality movie every year.
Huh.
That's
I
fair.
agree, yeah.
The only thing I would say back to that is me being me and thinking the one that was Best Picture quality didn't win, but
Which one?
The one year that gets to me is because I thought there were 2 Best Picture worthy movies, and the one that won it pissed me off because I thought Elizabeth was worthy, and I thought Life is Beautiful was worthy, and Shakespeare in Love won it, and that drove me to the edge of existence. I was like, God, no! No, because I thought that movie was not great.
What about you, Spring? Have you seen any of these?
I have not actually seen any of those.
Do you make it a habit to go see Oscar-nominated movies?
I'm kind of in your ballpark because I kind of agree with you that just because they have the awards doesn't mean that there's going to be a movie that's worthy of it every year. And so if I do, I usually will go contact other people who have seen them first.
Right.
And I'll see, people whose opinion I trust. And if they say, yeah, you should go check this out, then I'll probably go. But if the overwhelming majority says, it was all right.
Right.
Then I'll skip it. But yeah. But this year, there was just nothing really grabbed me. Nothing just...
Well, Guillermo del Toro doesn't grab you?
No.
Not unless it's a really good night.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And not that Del Toro was bad. I do like some of his movies, but some of them have been just kind of like, okay. But then some have just been fantastic.
Right.
But it's not as though he knocks it out of the park every time.
Okay, so curious, what is a good Guillermo del Toro movie and what's a bad one? I'm just curious to know.
Good question. You
Yeah.
put him
You're on the spot.
Oh, goodness gracious. I was trying to think of that.
Pan's Labyrinth was good.
Yeah, honestly, Pan's Labyrinth was probably one of the best that he ever
We're
did.
the guy, man. Don't give
Oh,
away.
But it's just, then others,
Pacific Rim was horrible. Pacific Rim is one of the worst movies ever made.
I didn't watch that.
It's horrible.
I was not a fan of Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah.
But I love
Pacific
Hellboy.
Oh, Hellboy.
Hellboy was
That
good.
was probably one of my favorites.
Hellboy was fantastic.
Hellboy 2 sucked.
Hellboy 2 did suck.
Yeah.
So you're right. He's got good ones, he's got bad ones. I like
Devil's,
Mimic.
Devil's Backbone.
I don't know that I've seen
That's
Devil's
number
Backbone.
one. I put ahead of Pan's Labyrinth. Devil's Backbone is.
He had a good one way back. That's the first time I was impressed with him. Was Kronos.
Kronos is
Kronos
good.
was excellent.
Yes.
And then he made Mimic. Mimic was really.
Was that Guillermo del Toro?
Yes,
Holy
it was
shit.
great. It was the first one of these movies that it's a horror movie where kids are not safe. So it was one of those things where kids were, and that was kind of a taboo at early 90s. Suddenly kids were dying. And it was really scary. I realized we have something here with this guy.
That's interesting. I would not normally associate Mimic with
Guillermo del Toro.
Guillermo, but that's I think a fantastic flick.
It was very dark. I did not like The Shape of Water. I did not like it.
I wish there was more darkness. But I think it was a beautiful, a symphony. It was amazing, from the picture and.
Technically, it was incredible. I was talking to Lewis that this movie featured every imaginable shade of green.
Yes.
Including your T-shirt that you're wearing, the shirt you're wearing right now. It was but it got distracting. You got to know when to stop, because we get it. We get the. You're trying to create mood, atmosphere, maybe even a message. But when even the freaking gumdrops are bright green, or candy, little candy, everything's green, you kind of taking it to a point where it's distracting, and people are just paying attention to see what's the next thing that's going to be green. But it was beautifully done. It was really, like you say, it was like music. The story was Beauty and the Beast. Which we, by the way, we already had Beauty and the Beast live action this year. And Michael Shannon, of course, is always incredible.
Michael Shannon, I could not think of. Tom and I were just talking about him earlier. I couldn't think of his name. Michael Shannon.
Yeah, but it was
General Zod.
It was a masterpiece. I think that's why the Academy was mesmerized by it, because it's mesmerizing to look at. And the acting was superb. Not just Michael Shannon, but
Olivia Washington.
The lady was incredible, and also the old guy, Jennings.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know what his name is. But
he's incredible in everything. He was in 6 Feet Under, remember?
Yeah. He was the dad.
He's so good.
The paterfamilias.
But Guillermo del Toro is a favorite topic of mine. I like to talk about him because, like you said, Jason, he's so up and down and unpredictable. And very dark. Pan's Labyrinth was such a dark movie, and yet so beautiful. He writes his stuff too.
Ivanov, we were just talking about the list of the top, the best picture nominees. How many of these have you seen? Call Me by Your Name.
I've seen them all.
I guess. I guess that. So, what's your winner?
You know what? I am not enamored with any of them. For example, 3 Billboards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's pretty much exactly what Lewis and I were saying. The same thing. It's like, why do we have to give one out?
It's down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's to tell you the truth, Get Out is my favorite movie.
Get Out. Yeah.
Get Out, which I am so perplexed by my compatriots in Bulgaria. I was on Facebook recently, and everybody was saying, "Why did they nominate this stupid movie? This horror movie? It's a cheap." Surface suspense thriller. I'm like, you guys did not get it.
A movie doesn't need to be costly to be a good movie.
No, but they don't. No. Cheap in terms of cheap idea. I'm like, you guys don't get it at all. You don't realize the social message, the social implications behind this movie. I did not get in an argument because I don't get in arguments on Facebook. But I was really puzzled. I was like, what are you talking? Don't you get the undertones? Do you not understand what the sunken place actually is? And then I realized people in other countries, they don't know. They don't understand the first 5 minutes of the movie when the guy was walking in a suburban, well-manicured neighborhood and was petrified out of his mind.
Yep.
And you immediately think of Trayvon Martin and the whole this horrible social dynamic that we are experiencing in the last 5 years, really since Obama became president. And maybe you can say in the last 200 years. But,
I would.
Yeah, you would. But I'm like, they just don't get it because they are removed. They're extracted from the social dynamic. They just don't understand this movie.
It's hard
they
to
think
say,
it's a thriller. They think it's a horror movie. No. It's a social, incredibly clever social
absolutely.
commentary. I listened to Jordan Peele on Fresh Air. Incredible interview where he basically went deep into the origins of this movie, into the reason he wrote it, into his influences, Stepford Wives, and all that stuff, the racial undertones. He's an incredibly intelligent guy. I had no idea how smart this man is. I
You
always
just
got
got to watch Key and Peele.
No, I watched him. No, that's the
go.
reason I'm saying. I watched him. No, Key and Peele was funny, smart, clever, but this is a completely different level. They were silly. This is this takes it to an incredible Hitchcockian freaking level.
And showing all the the social context, and it's amazing. No, it's
I don't
genius.
know. For me, it is exactly the same as, and I shouldn't say exactly the same, but Get Out for me is exactly the same as their humor. And like everybody here knows the substitute teacher.
I watched Keanu. Come on.
No. Okay, Keanu. First of all, Keanu is a great movie.
It's a good movie, but it's nothing to do. It's nothing to do with social commentary or.
Okay.
Or come on.
So, but secondly, if we've all seen the substitute teacher skit, right?
Yes.
So, like the beauty of that skit is not that he tries to pronounce these traditionally white names as though they're black names.
That is a legendary
The
skit.
brilliant part is that he does that and he acts like a substitute teacher in the inner city would. If a teacher at your school had come in and behaved that way, he would have been immediately escorted out of the building,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
But when I was growing up, that is exactly what the substitute teacher had to do to come into the class and assert dominance over everybody that's there. And so for me, there is always, with everything they do, this silly, dumb, stupid level, and then this really subtle level and it's usually something about class or power dynamics within relationships. And that to me was Get Out, like writ large.
Well, the thing is with sketch comedy and sketch comedians in general, people that come from TV, even Dana Carvey and the stupid Wayne's World thing. It's always almost inevitably the transition involves stitching together basically a bunch of sketches.
Right. True.
This is a completely different ballgame here. We're talking about carefully woven, incredible story with a great arc from beginning to end, with social commentary that goes like, it's like a connective tissue.
Through it. I agree.
And it's a really fantastic story, incredibly well done. This is my favorite movie. Also, guys, you remember the time when we would go to the movies and the audience was like one single organism. They would take a breath and they would gasp together. People, at the end, sometimes you applaud if the movie is really good. This feeling is largely gone. But in that particular movie, people were together in that movie. They were screaming together. They applauded at the end. I mean, it felt like the entire audience was part of the experience. You were not detached in your reclining, comfortable seat, eating your popcorn and drinking your drink. You were together with the entire audience into that story. And I feel like these are rare, those movies, those experiences.
I agree. So, right before you walked in, I just need to let our audience of however 3 people that listen to it, let them know that Ivo was not sitting around the corner when I was talking about this before. We had literally not exactly the same thing, but we had just come to a consensus that Oscar-nominated movies, there's not one every year, or what should be an Oscar-nominated movie doesn't actually happen every year. No. And I feel like this year is one of those years where, with the possible exception of Get Out, there hasn't been a movie that is really Oscar-worthy.
In fact, there's some big disappointments that are, like, to me, they're okay movies, but why nominated for, like, Lady Bird? Lady Bird is a sweet little coming-of-age movie that we've seen a million times before, and to tell you the truth, last year there was a movie called The Edge of 17 with Haley Steinfeld. She was better as an actress than this time, and the movie I felt was better. And I don't understand, why did you have, maybe because it's the year of the woman, maybe that's why we have to have as many.
It seems like they go towards that direction.
And a lady who's director and writer for this, and it was a very, very woman-oriented movie. But
and they got black people this year. Hollywood ain't so white this year.
Yeah.
Or Oscars ain't so white, I guess was the hashtag.
Yeah, that famous hashtag, Oscars so white. Was that the hashtag?
That was the hashtag, yeah.
That's what started, by the way, the Academy has about 6,000 members, right? And it was like a secret who is a member. But I think like about 5 years ago, they made a Los Angeles Times came out with that big article that said it's 98% white. 98% white, medium age 62, and men.
Yeah.
And so that's when that lady,
like
I forgot her name, but it was an actress, and she created that hashtag Oscar so white and started a movement, and the board of governors actually they kind of started nominating people that are of different ethnicities, more women and younger people. So now we have a little bit of diversity in the last 3 or 4 years. We have a little bit.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but I don't know what else. I mean, do you guys feel like there were some movies that should have been in and didn't make it this year?
Honestly, there was nothing. I have been, as a general rule, underwhelmed this year with movies. I was talking to the guys before we started the podcast, or talking to Brenan specifically. Yeah. For me, a movie is a great movie whenever I can forget that I'm watching a movie. If I get to the point where I can put myself in the protagonist or even the villain's perspective long enough to forget that I am in the movie. I won't even say for the majority of the movie, for a good chunk of the movie, then it's a great movie. And I just, quite honestly, outside of Get Out, I don't have any recollection of feeling that way about any movie in the recent past.
Dunkirk was strong, but man, it was such an unconventional. It felt like a documentary. It had maybe 5 lines of dialogue in it.
Really?
Dunkirk, it was really fantastic. I'm starting to feel horrible for Tom Hardy. He's an incredible actor, but it seems like every time he's in a movie, he's wearing a fucking mask from beginning to end of a movie.
So adopted the knife.
He was Bane, great, but man, you don't see his face. Then he was in freaking Mad Max movie. He had a face for about 5 minutes in that movie, and now he wore a helmet from beginning to end of Dunkirk, and he was great, but you couldn't tell if it was him or not.
Right.
So, but yeah, that was extremely well executed. I watched The Darkest Hour.
I tried. I couldn't get through it.
Yeah, I don't know if I would. What would be the 3 things that I would rather watch? An old lady filling out her taxes, parallel parking for 3 hours, or just a book but without opening it, just looking at it, a closed book, or that movie. Incredible acting. Gary Oldman's incredible, but my goodness, nothing happens. It's just unbelievable. You have to take Dunkirk and The Darkest Hour, which are about pretty much the same thing, and maybe somehow combine them. And then you have,
And I heard somebody else say that, they're only good if you put them together, as a combination.
The Post is good.
It's got Tom Hanks.
Yeah, I want to watch that.
Tom Hanks playing, but the problem is All the President's Men. Tom Hanks is playing. The great Benjamin Barley, the editor-in-chief of the Washington Post. Jason Roberts played him in All President's Men, and that was a role that will never be forgotten. That is a performance that is absolutely out of this world, another dimension. And so Tom Hanks has to come in and do basically the same guy. Meryl Streep is doing a good job as Kay Graham, basically the owner of the Post. But I just like you, I feel there was a movie about 7 or 8 months ago, beginning of the year of last year, that was called The Founder.
Yes.
With Michael
Keaton
as Ray Kroc.
Yeah. Well, I heard that was actually really good.
Really, 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 really.
And he was freaking absolutely fascinating. Yeah.
He played Ray Kroc so well because he played Ray Kroc really smarmy and really you did
so
not like him, but
He should
oh my
be
god, it was
nominated
good.
for something, man. It's just I feel horrible that he wasn't.
But that's okay. He got to be in the new Spider-Man movie, so I think it's kind of
True, and he won an
Yeah.
Academy Award relatively recently for another
For Birdman.
Birdman.
Yeah.
You know what? If you put Bird
really good
in
in
the
that,
title
too.
of your movie, you're pretty much guaranteed to get nominated.
Exactly,
At least.
exactly.
Birdman, Lady
except
Bird,
for Birdemic.
Birdemic's a fantastic movie.
Birdcage.
Birdcage.
Birdman of Alcatraz.
So if they give it to Lady Bird, I don't know. Maybe The Post is a front runner now. No, Three Billboards is going to win.
Billboards is
Three
probably-
Billboards is
Oh,
going to win.
that's-
And
Not worth it, right? I mean, it's okay.
it's okay. It's okay.
That was my feeling. Like,
But it's just a pretty straightforward drama. Like there's no again there's nothing standout about legitimately any of these movies. Get Out probably comes closest for me, but
And they're not going to win.
Yeah.
It's going to be Three Billboards.
yeah.
And Frances McDormand, all due respect, but she acts the same in every movie she's
Yeah,
ever been. She has one face, one tone.
the same lady
voice
from
into-
from it doesn't feel different than Fargo. It's like she's like an right. I mean, what
it's
was
like
30 years
they
ago?
took the person
like,
from Fargo and put her in another movie. It's the
exactly
same person.
same.
Sam Rockwell was freaking incredible, though.
He deserves.
fantastic.
I think he gonna. Did he get nominated?
Oh,
I
yeah.
think he's
gonna win
He's
that.
gonna take it.
There's no way for best supporting, which I feel like he was the main actor in this. But who's gonna win for main actor? I have not seen the Denzel Washington movie.
Yeah, I can't imagine that's fantastic. I don't think Denzel's had a really good movie in like 10 years. Yeah.
Fences, he was great in Fences and didn't win. Stupid Casey Affleck won for basically not going kind of cruising through this movie without changing. Just like Francis McDormand, he doesn't
Right.
change his face or anything.
There's a lot of actors like that these days. There's a lot of people like that.
Like Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling he is the same character in everything he does.
Yeah.
You know.
Do you feel like he was even the same character in Blade Runner 2049?
Yeah. Pretty much.
A little bit. Pretty boy.
The biggest stretch for him was La La Land.
Uh-huh,
That was as far as he'll go from departing from his like one expression, deadpan expression and his voice. But who was nominated for Best Actor? Do you have the list?
The list is Timothy Chalamet for Call Me by Your Name, DDL for Phantom Thread, Daniel Day-Lewis for Phantom Thread, Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out, Gary Oldman for Darkest Hour.
Oh,
and
he's
Denzel.
gonna win. Gary Oldman was freaking scary. He was Winston Churchill, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was. Yeah. There's no way he's not gonna win.
All right, how about for actress? We got Sally Hawkins in The Shape of Water,
Oh, yeah.
Fran McDormand, Margot Robbie for I, Tonya,
Oh, she was amazing.
Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, and Meryl Streep for The Post.
Probably Meryl Streep or Frances McDormand.
Yeah.
Probably.
Actress in a supporting role, Mary J. Blige for Mudbound, Allison Janney for I, Tonya, Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread, Laurie Metcalf for Lady Bird, and Octavia Spencer. I said
There is
Washington
a front runner, Allison Janney.
Allison Janney.
for I, Tonya. She was the mother of Tonya Harding, and she was freaking petrifying. She was so fucking scary. I mean, her character was scary. Sure. And she was just evil, pure evil. But it's so much easier to play villains.
Oh, yeah.
It's so much easier to appreciate also villains in movies.
Let's run through directors and then we'll move on because this is I think you and I are really the only Fernando are the three movie buffs here. Christopher Nolan for Dunkirk for director, Jordan Peele for Get Out, Greta Gerwig for Lady Bird, Paul Thomas Anderson for Phantom Thread. I did not realize that was Paul Thomas Anderson, and Guillermo del Toro for The Shape of Water.
So it's either gonna be Guillermo del Toro or Lady Bird because that's the only woman director and it's the ear of the woman. Everything's.
You don't
about
think it
one-
could be Jordan Peele for Get Out?
That's a tough. I mean, think
Kill
about
screenplay.
That's what I want. That's what I want. But
That
I
would be
think
fantastic.
it's going to be either Guillermo, because The Shape of Water has momentum. It's one
Which I don't understand.
I don't either. I don't. But
watch again.
I'll watch it again. Fernando says I got to watch it one more time.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on because we've spent a goodly amount of time on the movies.
Oh yeah.
But I feel like that could be a whole show at some point. Anyway, second question. Technology. In the last 30 years, what is the one piece of technology or effect of technology that makes you happiest? I'm going to pass it over to our producer because he had a really good vote.
Here we go. That's a good one.
First thing that came to my mind was something that had to do with my job, and that's nonlinear editing. Moving from splicing tape to weaving around pieces of audio, like playing like a piano, makes the job so much, not just easier, but it allows you to do a lot more and explore your creativity when you're nonlinear editing. So I'd say digital audio, digitization of audio and editing certainly is for me.
I actually like that as an answer because it highlights that it's not just the technology itself, it's that it allows you to be creative. I find that to be super duper important. So I know that Fernando's probably had the least amount of time of anybody to look at this, but I'm looking at you right now, Mr. Lafort. If you think about your favorite piece of technology, what comes to mind?
Oh man, 30 years, that's quite a range. Like I remember how happy I was when I got the first CD. When I could burn and do some piracy, with some, imported
Alleged
albums.
piracy.
Alleged.
Yeah, and then the iPod, I could have my 800 albums on my pocket. Now the damn smartphone that you just ask something and say, but I really I love the Bluetooth convenience. Like, so I just say, I want to hear this song in this room right now. And then I walk in, I just move my finger like for half an inch or I just say some word and I can play Bluetooth somewhere else and I hop on my car. And then if I want to silent, I put and the same song keep going. I move like from 10 different devices. Like I love, so maybe, I don't know if, is that, well, Bluetooth, I don't know. I think they're getting too much credit, but I mean...
I think a Bluetooth is a completely valid answer.
But it's a full combination. If, like, on top of that, my device that's broadcasting is, receiving things through the Wi-Fi and...
So if you had to leave one of the devices at home, which would it be? It'd have to be the headset. You wouldn't leave your phone at home, right?
True.
Yeah.
Not the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a... Yeah, you'd be the headset. The phone remains in the pocket.
So that is potentially the technology that you are most addicted to, hands down. Is there... let me tell you mine, because mine is a little bit easier. Earbuds. Earbuds are the thing that have changed my life. I've never been able to sleep. So being able to essentially listen to something all night if need be and not disturb anyone else, to be able to be inside my own universe but not surrounded by my thoughts continually, for me, that is probably the best thing that
plus you can't hear your wife.
Yes. Or anybody that happens to be screaming in my immediate surrounding. Yes.
Do the laundry, Louis.
So, for me, it's earbuds, just because they give me the ability to focus on something other than the voices that travel with me all the time. So it doesn't matter for me if it's my phone or even just a little pocket radio. If I got something else to listen to,
could be even hooked. Doesn't matter how it's being delivered. It's just like the
convenience of it. Yeah, that's it for me.
I thought you would come up with something way more complex than that.
Nope. I don't need complex. I need to be able to shut out the inner voice. So
that's it for me. It's just kind of a general answer, but really just the computer. I mean, just because the computer did so much as far as it just evolved. I mean, the whole evolution of technology that you talked about in that question came about because of the computer. Because I think about everything the computer can do nowadays. I mean, we have the net. I mean, you just everything because of the computer. However, in my heart of hearts, they actually have not invented my favorite device yet. As soon as someone invents a lawnmower that can mow the lawn itself,
They have.
Right.
They have.
where
Is a Roomba
where do I
like
get one of these?
lawnmower?
Yeah,
No,
give me like a
Honda.
Roomba lawnmower. Exactly.
No,
That's
Honda sells them in Japan.
Oh, come on, America, let's go.
Oh, and
They're-
there is also a fridge that can follow you too, like you be on wheels.
Yeah.
No joke. That's
That
true.
I've actually seen.
You hear about that? The fridge that can you say, "Oh,
A
I need a
refrigerator
beer."
following you around.
The fridge go and you so you don't need to get out the couch. Think about it. That's
Give me a lawnmower that can mow the lawn itself.
I got to interrupt this topic for just a second. Have you guys seen the smart
If
refrigerators?
that fridge has booze.
Yes. yeah.
I mean, you probably can put an ad
Booby
on
fridge. That's a great name for a rock band. Booby fridge.
Have you guys seen the smart refrigerators?
No.
So
Yes, I have. Yeah.
they are refrigerators that will apparently, like, if you put what's in your refrigerator, it will then give you menus or recipes based on what's inside.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna turn to mush. Our
We
brains-
are.
We just
like I'm curious
That's one
what
of
the
the things
fridge
that
would
movie
say.
Wall-E
Say
was-
what can you
was
do? It's
prophetic.
One of the
like
things that confused me about Alexa. 'Cause
dozen PBR and 3 eggs.
less and less reasons to use your brain cells, man. We have less and less reasons to rub our remaining 2 brain cells together.
I swear, this is
It's
just like, I'm a tech guy. I love technology. This is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard of. Like, do you go to the store and just buy random shit and keep it in your refrigerator without any idea
That's
of
messed
what to
up.
do with it?
Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
offer a little bit of a devil's advocate position
don't.
from where you are?
Yeah.
I do not know how much crap that we have in our fridge and freezer at home that will end up sitting at the bottom of it for like 3 months because someone forgot
so
about it.
then you will try to make something with it and feed it to people?
Yes, because me especially, I cook like crazy, and you will not believe how much even old crap you can make taste good.
Yeah, I'm more worried about, like,
I'm not really
poisoning.
sure. I don't think I want salmonella, but
170 degrees, you're not worried.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Mr. Ivanov, do you have any candidates for best technology ever?
Well, what's interesting as we were talking, I was thinking that it's kind of ironic that the best technology, probably for me, is also the worst thing that could happen to me. And so,
Online porn?
well, no. Well, that probably, but I don't know. No. I started thinking about the stuff that I use the most. That's probably the most valuable every day.
Right.
And for example, I constantly the digital delivery platform that has developed so much in just the last 3 or 4 years.
Right.
I mean, Netflix and Hulu and everything moving from analog to digital.
that's a good one
And
actually. I use that all the time as well. That's a good one.
Instantaneous delivery. It's right at your fingertips at all times. Also podcasts. I constantly listen to podcasts. I always have this on, and they're all of a sudden all the radio in the world is there for you. Everything, this enormous abundance of knowledge and entertainment at your fingertips at all times. And this is fantastic. It has enriched me. I'm turning into like a walking, talking encyclopedia at all times, listening. But it has isolated me from the world, from talking to people, from calling people on the phone, from writing.
I hear what you're saying, but do you think that it's that, or do you think that other people just don't talk on the phone anymore? I'm genuinely curious.
Here's what I think. It's very important to have time every day for that, to be on your own with nothing. That internal dialogue that is responsible for creativity, coming up with new ideas, new concepts on your own. I don't have that time anymore. I have to do something. I have to get rid of this, at least for a couple of days a week, so I can be creative again. Because I used to write like non-stop. This was my therapy. I would write. And now I'm constantly thinking, what's the next thing I need to hear? I'm missing something. I've got to go and watch this. I'm going to watch this documentary. Listen. And so suddenly I'm overwhelmed with content. There's too much content. And so when there's so much content, external content, there's not enough internal content. So that's what worries me. Otherwise, I love also what Eric said about nonlinear editing, because it was a nightmare trying to make a movie, and now with the Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere and Avid and all these platforms that are now more and more affordable, people can be filmmakers, documentary makers, music makers in their own home. All you need is a laptop and a cheap, the cameras. Your phone is a movie making device now. It's getting better and better. So it's really exciting times for technology, and things are getting better and better, but we have to be careful.
Mr. Conroy.
This is going to be interesting because I have to consider. Oh yeah,
No, you.
Not you, your son.
yeah. Who gives
the
a crap
nicer
about
Conroy.
you? This is going to be interesting because this 30-year period also includes stuff that was made before I was born.
Right.
You're a child of the digital age.
I am a complete child of the digital age, and well, one who tries not to be, because I also I still use LPs and cassette tapes and 8-tracks. I'm actively trying not to be.
Yeah.
Though this one is going to be an interesting one, but I would like to say that my favorite invention has been, because of how it's developed, was the message board. Which I say that because that would be directly responsible for it transitioning into social media.
Uh-huh.
I say that because over time, people decry social media because of how much they feel it takes away from people from actually interacting with other people.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if I have actually met face to face and spent time with more people who I have found positive influences on my life, or have been just general wonderful people who I consider great friends. Had it not been for social media, I would never have met them.
See, that's okay. So I am firmly in the camp that there are absolute positive benefits to social media, and
Yes.
I am frustrated by the constant lament that social media is
A negative.
a negative.
Yeah.
However, I have to ask you, do you think
I definitely
your-
see there are negative aspects to social media. I do not deny that whatsoever.
Actually, that wasn't going to be my question. My question is, do you think that those friendships that you just described would be better facilitated by FaceTime, face-to-face time?
I don't necessarily know.
If you don't know,
Well-
does that mean that those friendships, put it this way, I could call my buddy Jason on the phone
Yes.
once a
Yeah,
week, and that's okay, but being able to sit
rather
here
face to face.
and
Okay.
see him
Face to
and
face.
be with
Okay,
him.
yes, yes, I will agree. It is always best to be. It is always best to actually have that face-to-face interaction. I'm
Right.
using it for the people I have actually ended up meeting
Right.
and talking with and spending time with. I don't know if I would have made those relationships and ended
Outside
up
of it.
finding those people who I consider my greatest friends, and to some extent. Well, for example, the man I'm about to move in with, because I met him via social media, and we've ended up meeting each other several times, and that's how we ended up making the decision. Yes, this is the direction we want to go,
That's very cool.
and that's why I view it as the best, because I do not know of a place I have found more fulfilling people and more wonderful people in my life than from social media.
So do you think that there is
I would say it is the greatest assistant or the greatest medium to end up meeting other people.
right?
Start
It's a good assistant. It's also greatest inhibitor, because
I don't
people-
necessarily know about that.
Well, I kind of know, because I've lived half of my life outside of the digital age and the other half inside the digital age. And I see it as an inhibitor because it literally changed an entire generation. What I'm talking about is their ability to communicate face to face with people. In this term, people, it's very easy to hide behind a social profile, Brenan. It's very easy if you're shy, if you have social issues, it's very easy to hide behind your avatar and just create this persona, and it's very comfortable and it's wonderful and empowering. But it inhibits further your shyness when you end up in a real life situation. And I see it in the younger generation, my son's generation. I see their inability to look you in the eye, to make eye contact.
I'd agree with that.
When they're behind the keyboard, they're fantastic. They can talk your ear off behind the keyboard, and then they freeze his friends, he himself. I talk and he freezes and he's like, I need a keyboard. I'll answer your question, but can I please be away from you and look at a screen?
I don't know if I agree with that. Okay. I really don't know if I agree with that. If anything, the internet and social media has gotten me out of my shell because I felt myself very shy beforehand, and I don't know if I would have been as able to communicate as well and to have gotten as close with some of these people had I not gotten to talk with them first. Yes, it does, in a way, it is hiding behind it, but it makes you more comfortable to begin initiating that conversation.
I think, though, the one thing with listening to the both of you, I think the big key is it really just depends upon how you use it.
Yes.
I mean, people, they can choose to use it, as in Brennan's example, to kind of get out of a shell and, find very fulfilling relationships. Or, Ivo, as you said, people can use it and they can choose to use it to kind of stay hidden. I think it's not so much a dangerous, how would I put this?
It's a tool.
It in itself is not bad. It's just a tool. Now, depending on how people use it, that's what's going to make it good or bad.
It's true for almost anything.
Yeah.
I mean, any tool you take. But also, I want to just tell you that, you attribute a lot to social media, a lot of your development of your social skills, but you don't know for sure how much of it is you using a social media platform and how much of it is using this platform, because I've seen you becoming better and better and better communicator as you come here for years, Wednesday after Wednesday after Wednesday, and communicate with people of all ages, of different knowledge. You are able to communicate with people of different vocations, professors, workers, garbage men.
But you're not giving this. This is the same crap I've gotten with meeting people. True. This is the exact same people.
True, but I'm talking about eye-to-eye, face-to-face communication. So we don't know how much of it is this and how much of it is that.
This is my thing, is that I'm honestly of the opinion, as we get closer, as we get more and more digital as a people, I'm wondering the necessary... It's definitely a need in the end of it, but an intermediary need in basic communication. Is the face-to-face meeting becoming, is it staying as important? Because honestly, from my perspective, I don't necessarily think so.
Yeah.
So I think this is the day. I mean, I'm sorry to jump in, Ivo. Yeah. I think this is the problem, though. There is an intrinsic value to the interpersonal skills that come from face-to-face meetings. That my perspective is that this skill that we're talking about, the face-to-face interpersonal dynamics, it's something that changes continually. I distinctly remember as a teenager my dad making the comment to me, and this is 30 years ago, making the comment to me that young people don't know how to talk face-to-face anymore. Nobody knows how to give a good handshake. Have you ever had anybody say to you, this is how you shake someone's hand?
Yeah, you gotta shake the hand. This is right.
I can't think of anyone who's said that. The funny you bring that up. I actually get complimented on my handshake like crazy.
I can tell you for sure that as I'm going through my day, if I shake hands with 30 people, I get maybe 2 solid, firm handshakes.
There you go.
I can tell that from other people, yes.
One of the effects of this, kind of harking back to what you just said a moment ago, Lew, think about, for all of you, think about the teachers you've had in your life. If you had a good teacher, did they have good face-to-face social skills, or was it a bad teacher who was not able to talk to you as a student and communicate to you as a person?
Well, even as a law student now, there is a tremendous difference between a teacher that is engaging and has dynamic speaking skills versus someone who is a researcher who's been tasked with teaching a class.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Brenan is right that quite possibly face-to-face communication is not as important anymore. You can be online and meet millions of people millions of people without ever seeing them. Whereas how many people can you meet in your life face to face? But you're correct if you're talking strictly about results, result oriented. If you but you're going to miss something very, very important, the human element, the human dimension. So yeah, we can be online and visit Greenland, go to Nuuk from the space and go and zoom in and go between the houses and on the streets. No, you have to go. You have to go, experience the people, meet them, to feel them, to get that human feeling. And there's something else. There's a lot of research, Brenan.
I'm not trying to argue that in the end it's not necessary, but in the intermediary for something like your average communication, like the example you bring up, talking on the phone, I don't see the benefit of that much over actual like text communication. I don't see the benefit of that because you're not with a face-to-face. You don't pick up.
Yeah. So again, you know that I am firmly on the pro social media side, right?
Yes.
You get that.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
But you simultaneously can't say that there are nuances to conversation that get lost in a text communication that are better facilitated by
But you can't.
Right there.
But you can't. But you can't also deny that in the same way, nuances that you can't pick up in a phone call also get lost as well.
They are, but there's
they
been
get lost more in text.
There's been a lot of research, guys, that indicates that
smile face.
over spending too much time on social media and limiting face-to-face communication is you lose sympathy to people and compassion. So, and that explains, people have been trying to explain the meanness of the internet, how people get so radicalized in their communication with other people on the internet to a point where they just turn vile and turn to trolls. And it's the faceless communication that slowly extracts compassion, extracts sympathy and empathy. And so what's really amazing is many of these people, and they had like social experiments, many of these people that were screaming at each other on the internet and hated each other's guts, when you put them in the room, things change dramatically.
Yeah.
And they start understanding each other, they start talking to each other, and most importantly, listening to each other. So on the internet, the platforms and social media, often you speak and you refuse to listen, or you just listen to the other guy screaming just so you can escalate yourself more. So I feel like face-to-face communication is important. It's going away, and it's another danger of technology. I don't know.
So I hear what you're saying. I am always suspect of a study like that, specifically for exactly what you said. If you enter the study saying people are meaner than they used to be, what's the rationale? And then you look at the internet, you're going to say the internet is why people are meaner. And there's the premise that people are meaner now, and that's not necessarily true. It is true that on the internet people are meaner, but that is because the internet wasn't a thing 30 years ago. So I always, whenever I hear a study that proves definitively that
nothing's proven definitively.
But
These
you
are
get
just
what I'm
studies.
saying. But you get what I'm saying. Like there is an inherent bias in the way that you can ask a question, and an inherent bias in the way that you can report an answer. And so I am quite literally suspect either way. If somebody says to me that the internet has no bearing on the outcomes of communication or how people communicate, I'm gonna be doubtful. And what I can say for sure is that people that have a tendency to want to be assholes are going to be assholes on the internet.
Yes.
And people that want to be nice are going to be nice on the internet.
Again, it's a tool. It just depends on how you use it.
It's just a tool. So, the studies are always maybe good to reinforce an idea.
Well, you can always find studies to support your idea, no matter what your idea or your position is on any issue.
Especially if you're right wing.
Very much so.
It's more than a tool. I feel that there are some tools that have outgrown their utility function and are changing us, changing our wiring, changing the way we think, changing our behavior.
I agree with that.
And
I 100% agree with that. We last week when we talked about artificial intelligence, that was it. Like, are we handing over too much of ourselves to our phone?
Yes.
Like, I definitely think that we rely on this stuff too much. I'm just not ever sure like what the good cutoff point is.
We have very little reasons to leave our houses anymore.
Goddamn right. My
And
surround
you have
sound
no-
TV.
Well, anyway,
Yeah,
you
you know,
You
you
can
don't
order
need
your
to go to the
groceries online and
theater.
have them delivered to your house.
And your refrigerator will tell you when you're running low.
No, they weren't going to tell you what to
And
make
they
with all
bring
that
beer
crap.
to you.
One of the last hubs of community and place to meet people or just see faces, unknown faces, was the store, and that's going away. I mean, we shop online now, and
They're gonna disappear.
we're in our cars, and
I miss the mall. I miss being able to go to the mall and just sit down and just people watch.
Dude, you know the mall's still there, right?
Yeah.
I know, but I'm just saying, the malls are all dying. They're slowly
They are.
dying.
They
They
will,
really
yeah.
are.
They're shutting down.
Yeah.
Now
We-
gonna be. It's like
and I tell you what, we are meant to, and this is a topic for a completely different podcast, but I've been working on a show for the TV in my head.
Online porn?
No, to explain. Wow, you're stuck to that. I'm worried about you. I was thinking about the fact that we have more serial killers than in the United States. Tenfold than the entire world combined, and I've been
number one.
why.
I've been
Wonder
trying
why.
to rationalize this, and I've been trying to think from social standpoint and find the right angles and vectors to explain this to myself
Right.
first before I do the TV show. And I gotta tell you, I have a feeling that isolation has to do something with it. We are meant to be communal animals,
Right.
and there's certain level of pathology that results from being isolated, and we're the most isolated country in the world. We have bigger homes, we're in our cars more than anybody, we have less places to meet and be together or close to each other, and it's not a coincidence that the biggest punishment in prison is to put you in
Absolutely.
isolation.
Absolutely.
And this is the thing that scares even the most hardened criminals, is the one thing that petrifies them, because we're not meant to be alone, because you go insane when you're alone, and serial killers are insane. So
Yeah, but that's also an argument as to why we can't be less isolated, because people are crazy and they'll kill you. So it's
Yeah,
a
it's
circular
catch-22.
circuit. Yeah. All right. I think we have probably come up on the end of our hour. I'm gonna thank each and every one of you for.
We didn't get to one of the topics.
Yeah, put it this way,
Next
I would
time.
always rather not get to a topic than run
rush
through it.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that bothers
Okay.
And,
me,
yeah.
like on a
Save it for
real
later.
fundamental level. Yeah, we can just talk about it later. One really quick question, just to go around the table. Who'd you rather be, Robert Plant or Jimmy Page? Ivo.
can I go Robert Paige or Jimmy Plant? Damn it, man.
Come on, time's ticking. You got to pick one.
God damn it. You know how impossible this is for me, how impossible this is. God damn it. I'll say Robert Plant. God
All
damn
right.
it. But I'll regret
Brenan.
it. I regret it already.
You want to know what's going to kill you?
What's that?
I could not tell you either band.
Then you are out.
Yeah.
You don't count.
Yeah, you're done.
You don't count.
Yeah.
You get an F. Springer,
I have to pick one of those.
you have to pick one of those.
damn it.
Right now.
This is evil.
I guess I'm gonna kind of, man, probably Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Fernando, who would you rather be, Robert Plant or Jimmy Page?
Jimmy Page.
Okay.
I'd rather go with David Gilmour, but that you didn't offer me that one.
I just need to say right now that all of you folks that pick Robert or Jimmy Page are wrong. The correct answer was Robert Plant.
Is that right? Okay.
I mean, if you can change for Doug Gilmour, I'll change for Freddie Mercury, and there we go.
Or?
No, I just meant
be?
just a poll. Yes, just a poll to see what the panel was going to pick. Thank you guys very much for participating. I want to individually thank Fernando, Jason, Brenan, Ivo. I'm Luis Orlando. I've been your host. Our producer, as always, is Eric, the producer. And please come take a listen to us at Wednesday Night Undressed.